It is 10:06 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It is the 16th day of June 2025. This is episode 1116 of BitcoinAnd. Trump's Truth Social is filing an S1 for dual Bitcoin and Ether ETF. It looks like that's being advanced. We knew that was kind of going to happen, but it looks like there may be some approval on the way. And then Gemini and Coinbase and the EU are going to be in the news, as well as Vietnam, and then France might actually start mining Bitcoin because nothing stops this particular train. And then Coinbase has launched, a Bitcoin rewards credit card with a major credit card company. And Trump will also be in the news again in the second part of the show. He's apparently made quite a bit of money on the World Liberty Financial front. And then we've got 4 separate companies that are either brand new companies adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, or a couple of older companies that have bought yet more Bitcoin. I won't spend very much time on it, but I will give it a rundown on that. But first, let's get over to Trump. Helen Parks for Cointelegraph is writing that Trump's Truth Social files an S1 for dual Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. U.S. President Donald Trump's social media platform, Truth Social. All right, now this is not World Liberty Financial. Understand that this is the media company. It's different. The Truth Social media platform filed an S1 form with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a dual exchange-traded fund for Bitcoin and Ether. Filed on Monday, the S1 form proposes the issuance and trading of Truth Social Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF sponsored by the asset management firm Yorkville American Digital. The trust seeks to provide investors with exposure to both Bitcoin and Ether by offering shares backed by the crypto assets, removing the complexity stemming from direct investment. I'm already going to pause and say it's not that difficult. It's just not. And I honestly think that this narrative of continuously saying, we've got an ETF because self-custody is just too hard, I don't think that's doing anybody any kind of good service at all. It's very easy to custody your own Bitcoin. Please consider doing so and don't buy ETFs. But the shares of this particular trust are backed by BTC and ETH held by the custodian on behalf of the trust, which is Forex DAX Trust Company doing business as Crypto.com. The ETF shares are proposed to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange ARCA, according to the filing. And while Truth Social has officially determined that Crypto.com will be its dedicated crypto custody provider, the company is yet to finalize the details of the upcoming ETF, such as, the fund's ticker and who its cash custodian is going to be. Truth Social also mentioned that it plans to file an amendment later with a summary of the terms of the Prime Execution Agency agreement with Crypto.com. The filing for the Truth Social Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF follows the approval of Trump Media and Technology Group's $2.3 billion Bitcoin Treasury deal by the SEC on Friday. In the statement, the company said that it currently has no immediate plans to issue any securities under that deal, and TMTG previously confirmed a $2.5 billion capital raise to purchase Bitcoin in late May after initially denying such reports. It's not true. Oh, wait, no, it actually is true. Anyway, Truth Social's Bitcoin and Ether ETF filing arrived on the same day as a new S1 filing by CoinShares, which proposed the issuance of some shitcoin spot ETF, it doesn't matter, already operating an exchange-traded product called CoinShares Physical, Solana staked ETP in Europe. CoinShares is now seeking to launch similar ETF products in the United States. And then it's just a bunch more of crap coinery over here on Cointelegraph. So Truth Social is filing the S1 under the Truth Social banner. I actually kind of think that that's interesting because this is not just Trump's, the World Liberty Financial thing, which is what I would have thought that they would have put it under, but they're not putting it under that. And I'm not sure what that telegraphs, other than the fact that maybe Trump's planning on putting his entire family of companies into a situation where they all hold some kind of digital asset. It'll be interesting to see if maybe some of his real estate named companies will start actually collecting up Bitcoin and whatnot. But we've got to get on to MiCA and the EU, where Gemini and Coinbase are expected to secure MiCA licenses, according to a report. Sam Borgi, Cointelegraph. Crypto exchanges Gemini and Coinbase, both of them, are reportedly set to secure licenses to operate in the European Union, marking a significant step in their expansion under the newly implemented Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, or MiCA. Gemini is on track to receive approval from Malta, while Coinbase is expected to obtain its license through Luxembourg. Reuters reported Monday, citing unnamed sources familiar with the matter, and a Coinbase spokesperson declined to comment on the specific application, but did tell Reuters that Luxembourg is a well-respected global financial center. Gemini and Coinbase would join other major exchanges moving to the EU under MiCA framework, and as previously reported by Cointelegraph, Bybit recently gained their regulatory approval to operate in the region via Austria. In January, Binance updated its deposit and withdrawal procedures in Poland to comply with the MiCA framework. Regulations under the MiCA framework took effect in June of 2024, with full implementation following in December, after the European Securities and Market Authority issued final guidance for EU member states. MiCA is designed to create regulatory consistency across the region while strengthening investor protection and promoting financial stability, which it actually won't, but that's another story. While MiCA has been welcomed by some industry observers for bringing greater clarity to the rapidly evolving crypto asset space, not all feedback has been positive. As Chainalysis noted, the rules still leave some room for interpretation and uncertainty, particularly regarding stablecoins. One contentious provision requires stablecoin issuers to hold a significant portion of their reserves in European banks. A key reason why USDT issuer Tether has declined to pursue registration under MiCA. Nevertheless, at least 10 other stablecoins have been approved under the framework, including those issued by Circle, Crypto.com, Fiat Republic, Societe Generale, and others. Early signs suggest that stablecoin adoption under MiCA has been lukewarm, however. In Italy, one of the EU's largest markets, MiCA has not led to significant stablecoin adoption, according to Fabio Panetta, former European Central Bank official and current governor of the Bank of Italy. Instead, he noted, interest has increasingly shifted towards custodial and trading services. But that's the end of the article, but you gotta understand, this is Fabio Panetta. And Fabio is not a fan of any kind of stablecoin whatsoever, and none of these central bankers are. Even though he was a former central banker, you can be guaranteed that he still has dogs in that hunt. So the deal is that they're never going to say anything at all. They're always going to say, no, nobody's really adopting it. I beg to differ. I think there's a lot of people adopting it. What really surprises me is that still to this day, Tether is not trying to get a license for MiCA. And this kind of throws a little bit of a wrench in my theory that the entire thesis that I think Tether is starting to go to is the issuance of United States debt abroad by immediately monetizing debt instrumentation from the United States Treasury. If Tether can't get into the EU, that's not going to be all that great for Tether. But then again, they've got like the rest of the world. And the EU is, well, it's a basket case. So I can kind of see it, but I'm still really surprised that they just haven't made any moves at all to get into the EU as of today. Now, on to Southeast Asia, where Vietnam has passed a law recognizing crypto as property, and the new rules will be effective January 2026. By the way, this is Naga Avan Namoyo from theblock.co. Vietnam has officially legalized cryptocurrencies under the Digital Technology Industry Law, introducing tax breaks and other incentives aimed at supporting local startups and retaining homegrown talent. The new rules, scheduled to take effect in early January 2026, establish a legal framework for crypto regulation and formally recognize cryptocurrencies as property under civil law. Vietnamese law will categorize cryptocurrencies into 4 types: security tokens or encrypted securities assets, payment tokens, utility tokens, and mixed tokens. Startups and developers will also benefit from tax exemptions, subsidies, special visas, and other incentives designed to boost the country's digital economy. This was voted for on June the 14th, and the bill follows a directive from Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh in March. Minch, was it Minch? No, this is weird. It must be a misspelling. Min had instructed the Ministry of Finance and the State Bank of Vietnam to propose a draft regulation by the end of the first quarter of 2025. The move is part of a broader plan to drive economic growth by 8%. With the new framework, Vietnam joins jurisdictions such as the European Union, which we just talked about, and Dubai in implementing dedicated crypto regulations that are distinct from traditional financial oversight. The law could also improve Vietnam's international crypto standing. Vietnam ranked 5th in blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis 2024 Global Crypto Adoption Index. However, the country remains on the Financial Action Task Force gray list due to deficiencies in crypto-related anti-money laundering practices. The landmark bill could help address those concerns. Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. Everybody is falling in line. Southeast Asia is one of the places that I always look at, along with Central America, South America, African continent, Eastern Europe, Balkans, these kinds of things. These are the places that need Bitcoin the most. And it looks like everybody's just falling like dominoes. It's happening very, very fast, y'all. It's very, very fast. And if you want to help create a circular Bitcoin economy, then help Circle P vendors like GreatGhee, who has grass-fed Jersey cow handmade ghee. Do you know what ghee is? It's just clarified butter, right? Because if you get butter and you melt it, you'll see some particles that look kind of white. There's still some milk solids in that butter. But if you melt it all down and you kind of cook it on the stove a little bit, what you end up with is the ability to strain all those solids out and just get left with nothing but the butter fat. It's a staple in Indian cooking as well as other types of cooking around the world, but it's really prominent in Indian cooking. This guy makes this stuff from 100% grass-fed, pasture-raised Jersey cows in Southwest Virginia. In the United States, it's made in small batches by hand. So the direct link, the URL directly to Shopstr and his Shopstr stall where you can buy this directly from him will be in the show notes. All you got to do is click on it, wait a little bit because Shopstr can be a little slow sometimes. It'll finally pop up and you will be able to buy it directly from him. When you do, make sure that you put in BitcoinAnd. Okay, put in BitcoinAnd into the comment section, and you won't get anything off just yet. We're kind of working maybe a deal with that. Not quite sure. So, but what this does is it allows GreatGhee to understand that he made a sale because you heard about it here on the Circle P, where plebs sell their goods and services to other plebs so that we can all support one another. Because when you buy GreatGhee's ghee, then he is able to support me by sending me Satoshis, and those Satoshis allow me to bring you the news that you can use, like this stuff coming up from France. France considers Bitcoin mining. I honestly didn't think France would even consider it until at least a couple more years. But there's a parliamentary proposal for managing nuclear energy that's involved with all this, and this is out of atlas21.com. A group of French parliamentarians has introduced an amendment that could turn the country into a European hub for Bitcoin mining, strategically leveraging its energy production capacity. The legislative proposal aims to assess how mining could be integrated into the energy system of France, which is the largest in Europe, to optimize the management of electricity produced by nuclear power plants. The amendment to the law on national programming and regulatory simplification in the energy sector calls on the government to conduct a thorough evaluation of the potential of Bitcoin mining. The initiative represents a pragmatic approach to addressing the issue of excess energy, a key topic for France's nuclear energy industry. France's energy system, which is powered by nuclear for over 70% of its needs, I guess France didn't go the way of Germany. This is good news because Germany cut off all of their nuclear energy, if you didn't realize that. So France, over 70% of their energy needs is met by nuclear energy, and it often generates electricity surpluses that require efficient management. The proponents of the proposal see mining as an ideal solution to absorb that excess, transforming a potential waste into an economic resource. The operational flexibility of mining farms offers a unique competitive advantage. Machines can be quickly turned on and off based on production and consumption peaks, dynamically adapting to the needs of the electrical grid. This feature makes them particularly suitable for installation very near power plants, even in the most remote areas of the country. The parliamentary proposal highlights how mining could contribute to the revitalization of abandoned industrial sites, creating brand new opportunities for economic development under the supervision of public authorities. Lawmakers emphasize the various benefits of this strategy: reducing negative pricing in wholesale markets, relieving the workload on nuclear plants by avoiding frequent modulation cycles that accelerate equipment wear, and absorbing surplus energy that would otherwise go to waste. The French Association for the Development of Digital Assets collaborated in drafting the amendment, contributing technical expertise and industrial insight to the project, and the organization emphasized how low-carbon Bitcoin mining, could help strengthen the resilience of the national electricity grid. The parliamentary report notes that mining in France could represent an activity tailored to the constraints of the electrical system, absorbing surplus energy and reducing environmental impact by using power that would otherwise be lost. So there you go. France is going to throw their hat into the ring, maybe, on Bitcoin mining. What's the most shocking thing to me about this is that France never closed down their nuclear power plants. And like I mentioned just a couple of moments ago, Germany closed down all of their plants. And I believe that happened right before Russia attacked Ukraine. And why is that important? Because Russia was supplying Europe, and still does for a lot of it anyway, but was definitely supplying Germany with almost all of its power through the natural gas pipeline, which is now, I guess, only one of them is operating, and Germany is finding themselves in a real painful situation because they tried to go 100% green, and it is really not working out for them. So here we have France, which I'm also kind of shocked that they're the largest power grid in Europe, and that it's not Germany, even though that they screwed themselves with going non-nuclear, but still, they were the industrial powerhouse and still actually are the industrial powerhouse of all of Europe. So it's odd that France is the people that actually have the more stable and the larger grid. This could be a shift. We might actually see Germany just lose all control of their power base in the EU, and it'll be interesting to see if that actually happens. But first, we've got numbers to run. Futures and commodities. I got West Texas Intermediate oil down 1.44%, but not before it rose like 7% yesterday, when Iran and Israel really started going at it, specifically Israel's attacking of a natural gas power plant in Iran. As of last night, I did not know the extent of that particular damage, but the shockwave going through the energy market was that, Israel's not only going to, target their nuclear energy stuff, it's going to target their legacy petroleum energy infrastructure. And now, so we actually got up to like $76, like when oil started trading yesterday, right? So that it was absorbed, as the market opened, it had to immediately absorb the news over the weekend that Israel and Iran were going at it in kinetic warfare. So now Iran has signaled that they are ready, or at least willing, to go back to the negotiating table as long as the United States does not step into this particular conflict. I have no idea what is really going on with that, because from what I've seen, Iran has never really played above the table when it comes to their nuclear program. I've seen this happen before. So is Iran serious about this? Like, hey, okay, we're sorry. We'll stop. We'll stop throwing stuff over there at Israel, and they were making quite a mess. There's a lot of hypersonic missiles coming in from Iran, striking some really, really. They did a lot of damage in Israel, and Israel's clearly doing a lot of damage in Iran. So if they go to the negotiating table, we might see sub $70 oil here pretty quickly. But right now it's at $71.95. Brent North Sea is down 1.5 to 73.15. Natural gas, however, is up almost 4 points to $3.72, and gasoline is down 1/4 to $2.22. Gold is down a full point to 34.18 and 4 dimes. Silver is up 1/4. Platinum is up 2.9%. And copper is up 1/2, while palladium is down exactly the same. Biggest winner in ag today is going to be chocolate, 3.37% to the upside. Biggest loser is rough rice, 3 points to the downside. Meanwhile, live cattle is up 1.25. Lean hogs up almost 2 points, and feeder cattle is up 1.19%. The Dow is up 0.87%, and the S&P is up almost a full point, while the NASDAQ is enjoying 1.5 point rises. S&P Mini is up 1.25 point. Now on to, by the way, something happened to my normal Brave browser, and I'm having to actually use Chrome, and things are a little different today for me until I figure out exactly what the hell happened to my Brave browser. But the price of Bitcoin is standing at $107,940. That is a $2.15 trillion market cap. We can purchase 31.5 ounces of shiny metal rocks with our one Bitcoin, of which there are 19,879,591.46 of, and average fees per block are low, 0.03 BTC taken in fees on a per block basis. There are 6 blocks carrying 20,000 unconfirmed transactions waiting to clear at high priority rates of 8 Satoshis per VByte. Low priority is going to get you in at 6. And mining is at 935.2 exahashes per second. We apparently hit an all-time high of mining yet again sometime over the weekend, but I did not catch that actual number. Now, from SharpLink Gets Wrecked, which was Friday's episode of BitcoinAnd, I got Justin with 3,000 giving me sats saying, I appreciate you calling out the cheap tricks of journalism, bias, GPT, subtle or not so subtle persuasion. The traditional media is hypnotizing the masses. Yeah, and they have been for quite a long time. Pies with 1,000 says, it still blows my mind that NunyaBidness is doing this show with no sponsors. Really leaves a bad taste in my mouth towards Bitcoin-only companies who are sponsoring some of these ass clown shows out there. Thank you, Pies. I appreciate that. Psyduck717 says, Psyduck. And Chill Now with 666 says, eyes forward, please. Conflicts of interest continue. Shitcoin treasury casinos manufacturing new slave bankers to export dollars through debt ad infinitum. We can meet again somewhere far away from here. The light pierces through the ruins, a final beacon in the dark chaos of a crumbling world order. Remember, it's more than just a number, it's a choice. Yeah. Yodel with 511 says, great ways, Nunya. Paul Surnine with 500 says, thanks for yet another great overview of today's news. Always appreciated. Regarding the last topic, from what I know, there's a payment button on your nostr profile, so anyone can pay your profile and not a specific note. Yes, this is true, Paul. That is very true. And when paying, you can also add a comment. But of course, that's on Lightning, not on chain. And maybe the latter was what you were suggesting to be coded. Anyway, have a great weekend and see you on the other side of Sunday. Yeah, Paul, what I was actually talking about was the possibility of putting in a Lightning button on my website or anywhere that I want to drop it. Like an embedded URL, well, actually, no, not an embedded URL, but an embedded code snippet that I can drop into like I don't know, anywhere on my webpage and multiple times on my webpage, like on the front page, on the about page, on the Circle P page, maybe on each individual post that I put up on that website. Just have a button to where you can support, where it just says support the show. You hit it, comes up with a Lightning invoice. You put in the numbers and then you copy the Lightning invoice and then boom, you throw it into your Lightning wallet. On chain, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like Lightning is working really, really well. And it's not like people are dying to give me like 3 whole Bitcoin. So until that time comes, I don't really need on chain. But moving on to Turkey, who actually says something, 500 Sat says, I'm almost always driving when listening. On a side note, I actually had to use Tether today to pay a in Argentina. Oh, there you go. Turkey said something. BTC on board with 300 gives me some emojis, and God's Death with 237 says, thank you, sir. No, thank you. Augie Chute with 100 says, I am Michael's strategy. Yes. Spies with 100 says, thank you, sir. No, thank you. That's the weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news you can use. This is interesting. Coinbase launches Bitcoin rewards credit card with American Express. Hey, before we begin this, American Express has been dying for years. They used to be top-notch. They used to be the card that you wanted to have. It was a status symbol. Now, honestly, Bitcoin or MasterCard and Visa has just eaten their lunch. Hell, even Discover Card has eaten into a great guts and feathers of the market that used to be American Express. So is this a Hail Mary for American Express? I don't know, but we're going to read about it from Alex Larry from Bitcoin News. Coinbase is launching its first ever credit card called the Coinbase One Card with up to 4% back in Bitcoin on everyday purchases. The announcement was made at the 2025 State of Crypto Summit in New York and marks a step towards making Bitcoin more accessible and rewarding for everyday use. The card is being released in partnership with American Express and will roll out in the U.S. this fall. It's only available to Coinbase One members, the company's growing subscription service. Quote, whether you're buying groceries or booking a trip, the Coinbase One card lets you earn rewards in Bitcoin, making everyday spending more rewarding than ever, Coinbase said in its blog post. The Coinbase card lets you earn anywhere between 2 and 4% back in Bitcoin, depending on how much you have in assets on the Coinbase platform. Oh, what? Oh, come on, guys. Only the rich get richer, I guess. All cash holders or card holders will start out at 2%. But those with more assets can unlock higher cashback rates. This is evil. The card also has a metal design with text from Bitcoin's original Genesis block engraved on it, representing its connection to the birth of the scarce digital asset. And indeed, the card has the actual header from the Genesis block. The reward cards are a first for Coinbase, which previously only released a prepaid debit card with Visa in 2020. The new card is a shift from traditional digital asset trading tools to everyday financial products that integrate with the blockchain. Oh, God. The card is on the American Express network, which provides access to travel protections, exclusive offers, personalized experiences, and the secure infrastructure of one of the most trusted brands in payments. Will Stredwick, SVP of Global Network Services at American Express, said, quote, "We see real potential in the combination of Coinbase and crypto with the powerful backing of American Express, and what the card offers is an excellent mix of what customers are looking for right now," end quote. Luke Gebb, Executive Vice President of American Express Digital Labs, added that Amex is committed to practical, compliant applications of the blockchain and Bitcoin technology. I think this is actually more of a Hail Mary than anything else. The Coinbase One card is issued by First Electronic Bank and offered through a partnership with fintech company Cardless. A wait list is open now on Coinbase's website, and more info will be shared as the fall launch approaches. To use the card, you need to be enrolled in Coinbase One, a subscription program launched in 2023. There are now two options. A standard Coinbase One account is $29.99 a month. $30 a month, guys, with zero trading fees, priority customer support, and enhanced staking rewards. Coinbase One Basic is $4.99 per month. And to make it more affordable, basic members also get the card and the same Bitcoin rewards. But I guess that doesn't come with zero trading fees. Anyway, both tiers get up to 4% Bitcoin back, zero fee trading on eligible assets, up to $500 a month for basic, and 4.5% APY on the first $10,000 in USDC holdings. Oh, God. Quote, "Our customers are graduating from just creating accounts to now using Coinbase as a primary financial account," said Max Brasberg, Coinbase's VP of product. And the Coinbase One card launch comes as more digital asset platforms are entering the credit and debit card space. So American Express is now jumping in. And the language that both of the representatives of American Express used tells me that they really don't know what this is about. That this is just marketing at this point. It's an easy thing to do for people like Amex because they're always I remember you could not use anything but American Express at Costco for the first couple of years that I was a member at Costco. You couldn't use MasterCard, you couldn't use Visa, and you couldn't use debit cards. You had to use an American Express card. That very quickly went away, but that was one of the marketing, like what did we used to call it? Joint marketing schemas. And so this is really easy for American Express to do, so I wouldn't get all that excited about it, but we'll have to see where it goes. Meanwhile, Trump, again, has disclosed $57 million windfall from crypto venture World Liberty Financial. I mean, yeah, he's got like $5 billion, so $57 million at that point, but still $57 million. Vismaya V from Decrypt. President Donald Trump pocketed $57 million from his crypto venture World Liberty Financial earnings that had lawmakers calling it open corruption. The windfall came from token sales by World Liberty Financial, the decentralized finance platform Trump launched with his three sons. The disclosure, spanning 234 pages and filled with the Office of Government Ethics, filed with the Office of Government Ethics, reveals Trump's crypto bet paid off handsomely as his administration took office. The crypto earnings reveal that Trump has successfully monetized his political brand across multiple ventures, from meme coins to golf resorts, generating over $600 million in total income. World Liberty Financial raised approximately $550 million through two token sales, with more than 85,000 investors, holy crap, participating globally as per a March statement. And despite the substantial crypto earnings, Trump's golf empire remains his financial heavyweight. Trump Endeavor 12 LLC, his Miami-based company owning golf courses and resorts, generated $110 million, nearly double his crypto income. The disclosures reveal that Trump values 22 assets at more than $50 million each, including his Turnberry, Scotland golf resort and stakes in Trump Media and Technology Group, which owns Truth Social. His Mar-a-Lago club alone contributed over $50 million in resort-related revenue. His company CIC Digital LLC earned $1.1 million in 2024 from licensing his image on non-fungible tokens and holds an Ethereum wallet worth at least $1 million. However, his newer meme coin venture, Fight LLC, wasn't included in the 2024 disclosure since it falls outside the reporting period. In May, Trump hosted a dinner for 220 largest holders of the official Trump meme coin, causing its price to surge 56% when the event was announced in April, and the filing also details extensive royalty incomes, including $2.8 million from Trump watches, $2.5 million from Trump sneakers, and $1.3 million from Greenwood Bible, described as, quote, the only Bible officially endorsed by Lee Greenwood and President Trump. Endorsement of a Bible. Man, you're just flirting with going to hell on shit like that, bro. But his foray into digital assets represents a significant shift for the president, who once dismissed Bitcoin as a scam against the dollar. Oh, okay. So he's making a shit ton of money. And what else he's doing is he's generating a shit ton of fodder for all of his political enemies to catch him in the act. I mean, like I said, I'm neutral either way on Orange, man. But when you're making that much money as president of the United States, somebody somewhere is going to find something and they're going to use it. I guarantee it. Now, on to the four companies. Japan's Metaplanet hits 10,000 Bitcoin and overtakes Coinbase. Oh boy. Metaplanet has acquired an additional 1,112 Bitcoin for $117 million, bringing its total holdings to exactly 10,000 BTC, thereby overtaking Coinbase to become the 9th largest publicly traded holder of Bitcoin as corporate Bitcoin adoption continues to accelerate globally. Moving on, we have Smarter Web Company. I've never heard of them before, so this apparently is a new entrant into the Bitcoin Treasury company holding stuff. Smarter Web Company raises 29.3 million pounds, British pounds, pound sterling, to grow Bitcoin holdings. The Smarter Web Company, a UK-based web design and digital services firm, has raised 29.3 million in a new funding round to support its Bitcoin Treasury strategy. So they've already got a little bit of Bitcoin. And then another one in Canada, Universal Digital launches their Bitcoin Treasury strategy. Let's see. Universal Digital Incorporated announced it has launched a Bitcoin Treasury strategy as a core pillar of its capital allocation framework, beginning with the divestment of altcoin holdings to accumulate Bitcoin under a new reserve model. Quote, our Bitcoin Treasury strategy marks a deliberate shift in how we manage capital by holding Bitcoin as a long-term treasury asset. And finally, rounding off the show, which today is short, and probably needs to be considering it's a Monday, Strategy acquires 10,100 Bitcoin, surpassing 592,000 Bitcoin in holdings. This is out of Bitcoin Magazine. Michael Saylor's Strategy announced that it had purchased an additional 10,100 Bitcoin. Now, these were acquired for an average cost. No, I'm sorry. His entire holding of the 592,100 Bitcoin now has an average cost of $70,666 per coin. And as you know, yesterday, Michael Saylor, as normal, puts out a tweet that shows a graph of the Bitcoin price with a bunch of orange dots on it, which symbolize where and how much he bought Bitcoin. He threw out another one on Sunday afternoon yesterday, so it's no surprise that he bought Bitcoin this morning. That he announced it this morning. He's been buying throughout the week. That's the way he always does it. He doesn't just like buy a lump sum. So what does surprise me is that it's 10,000 Bitcoin. So what was that? That would be, let's see, trying to see what is that? Oh, well, it doesn't actually say, and I don't want to do the math in my head right now. I don't have a calculator up. He's been kind of like last time, I think he bought a little over 1,000 Bitcoin. It was like he's had a couple of piddly ant buys, but 10,100 is quite a bit. So it doesn't seem like he's backing down, even though he's been getting a lot of attention. He's been getting a lot of criticism, but what's worse is now the short sellers, and they've been here all along, but they're really getting vocal about shorting MicroStrategy. And it doesn't help that one of his lieutenants, well, actually not his lieutenant, but one of the directors on the board of directors sold his entire stash of strategy stock, the MSTR stock, and that was disclosed on Fridays. That's not helping things, but apparently he doesn't care. He just whipped out the wallet, went to the ATM, and bought himself 10,100 Bitcoin. It's going to be an interesting ride. That's going to be it for the show. Like I said, we'll keep it short for Monday, and I will see you on the other side. This has been BitcoinAnd, and I'm your host, David Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and hope to see you again real soon. Have a great day.